Hey guys, welcome into the Poker Reborn channel. We are checking out the latest devlog 135 for Battle Brothers Blazing Deserts, of course. Location environments. Now we did kind of get a look into this earlier on. It was like with a second devlog that we got into. So this is going to be pretty interesting. Just as always, guys, everything's going to be in the description below, at least for the timestamps. Pretty much my thoughts and then just the reading of this. So let's dive right on in here. We previously announced that we're going to portray any location that you're fighting at, such as graveyards or a brigand camp, also the tactical combat map. If you haven't done so already, it's highly recommended that you read up on our explanation of why we're doing this and how we're addressing the potential issues here. So, if you do go to the website, of course, there you go. You have your instant link. Since this feature is now more or less ready, it's time to take a closer look at it and how it plays out. So, ooh, wow, very cool. I honestly have not gotten to look at this. That's pretty cool too, but I haven't gotten to actually dive in and look at this. I only saw this briefly when I went to Steam. So anyways, so location environments. First off, location environments will be included for free with the upcoming 1.4 update. This includes graveyards, ruins, and various camps of humans, orcs, and goblins. If you choose to get the Blazing Deserts DLC, you'll also have the Desert Raider encampments and Southern ruins in battles. And if you own the Warriors of the North DLC, you'll get to see barbarian camps and villages, but you don't need to own either of these, most of the new environments. Very cool. Well, once again, we'll go over that in a second. As we've said previously, we want fighting brigands in open field to feel different from engaging them in their camp. Indeed, where their camp is located and what kind of camp those brigands have should also become more important. Smaller camps may be a loose collection of bedrolls around the campfire, providing largely cosmetic backdrops for your battle, while larger encampments may even have fortifications like wood palisades that provide cover from defenders, which this is really important right here, just to kind of remember there, of course. Yeah, but anyways, if the location does have the fortifications, you'll see both on the locations tooltip on the world map and in the engage screen before you start your assault. Hence the fortifications clearly there. Pretty simple, of course. Right. A location with fortifications is harder to assault, but it doesn't mean that you'll have to bring siege equipment. Take a look at the barbarian camp below. It's quite a defensible position, being an extreme example of the fortified camp built on a hill, but we've deliberately kept holes in the palisades. Those palisades are enough to limit your angles of attack, change up things, and make you think twice about how you're going to assault, but never enough to bring the entire battle to a halt at a single choke point. Although the location environment doesn't look like it makes battle any easier, it is a good hold up. I skipped a whole line here. It does make it a lot more predictable where you and the enemy start, and more a question of good tactics and less having luck with the spawn positions. Oh, that is beautiful. I like that a lot. Okay, unlike the battlefields or the field battles, which most of your battles are going to be, your men don't start in a battle line right in front of your opponents when assaulting locations. You will start in formation, but further to the left, whereas the enemy starts in the encampment to the right. There's also going to be a couple of instances where the roles are reversed and you'll have to defend a location against attackers. That's going to be cool. I'm imagining that's going to have to do with like defending a town, for instance. But again, I'll go into that in a second. If you don't want to fight the enemy at their camp, you can attempt to lure their garrison out on the world map to fight them in the open, and then return easily to sack the location afterwards. On the other hand, engaging enemy in their encampment may sometimes be advantageous over luring out their garrison into difficult terrain. That's because your enemies naturally cut down trees in their camps, making for open spaces, and built their camps only for dry spots and within swamps. Very good. That is a big deal. So instead of having to fight goblins in murky marshlands where your heavily armored men get stuck, you can descend upon their camp and fight them on solid ground. And our ultimately location environments are about bringing more variety and atmosphere to combat in Battle Brothers, and about adding another strategic consideration to the world map. Now this is kind of open-ended, and I'll say that right away because normally when we get done with this reading, there's always something where Jason says, stay tuned for next week, blah 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 blah, right? Not to say anything bad, Jason, appreciate your work, but that is open-ended, which means that I think week to week it's really all up in the air. So let's start at the top here. Well, starting out, if we're just looking at just what we can see, just kind of what's going on here. There is a fear, and my fear is that, like, okay, if you play Battle Brothers, okay, for all the people that play Battle Brothers, are big fans of Battle Brothers, or have spent, copious amounts of hours in game, you know that fighting in the forest is more of a you more than likely don't want to. You try to avoid it. Like when I go to fight any kind of encampment or whatever, I try to avoid hills, and I try to avoid forests because everything gets in the way. And for archers, it's a pain because sometimes their archers can see you, and while you can see them and try to shoot, there's always something in the way, which brings up Bullseye as a perk that you'd use, which is a great perk, don't get me wrong, but I'm a little worried about how this is going to play out because I've seen it so many times where archers get the advantage. And anybody who knows, anybody who plays this game, I don't care if you're like a beginner, if you faced a marksman before, there's a dumb luck that marksmen have, preach, right? That gets so annoying. However, with these new environments, I'm very happy to see the liveliness of this. We want this aesthetic beauty to come out, and I feel like it's doing that. So I'm really kind of torn. I'm a little torn because this tree is pretty much like this pillar. It's tough. It's tough for me to. I don't know how I feel about it just yet. I hate when guys get locked up in certain locations, although I do love choke points, because if you can get into a choke point and they keep coming in, you can just slaughter them. You kind of need it in Battle Brothers because some of the things that you face or surprise attack you, essentially, the disadvantage can really vary. It can be more of an advantage if they attack you even, but more than likely it's a disadvantage. So I don't know. But this brings me to my next point. I was talking about, remember what part? It's not here. I don't know that it's up here. Sorry if you guys hear the dogs in the background, of course. I love them. That's just part of my life, right? So, go pugs, go life. I got 3 pugs. Absolutely love the tar out of them. I don't know why tar was the first word, but here we are. So, I'm not seeing it here. I said to watch this one part. Yeah, but either way, my point with this is it was talking about palisades. It was talking about taking cover. Oh yeah, cover for the defenders. Okay, so here's how Battle Brothers takes a step forward, right? The number one thing with having this, there has to be a difference between concrete objects and defenses. For cover to me does not mean I'm hiding behind this and I can't shoot at the enemy or can't visibly see the enemy. Here's my thought. If you're defending a location and you have a palisade, I would like to be able to stand behind the palisade and see the enemy. With an archer, I want them to be able to shoot at the enemy and the palisade have absolutely no effect on my attack, my range of skill. I mean, I don't want it to have an effect. It can't be a tree in my way. It just doesn't. That to me can break this whole idea. As beautiful as the aesthetics are, I want to know that it's actual fortifications, it's actually a defending point than anything else. If I'm coming up onto this ridge, so let's use this as an example. Oh, I was hoping I could click on the picture and expand it a little bit. This is actually pretty well. I purposely expanded this page so we can see the pictures easier. But either way, I digress. Let's get into this part. If I'm coming up onto this hill and I see all these guys, or we're the ones defending, for instance, I want my archer to be standing right here. I want him to be standing right here, where if they try to shoot at him, we're gonna have the defense of this, and we'll have the ability to shoot them without any problems. You might say, okay, Puggo, that's a little extreme. That's a little. I mean, that's a lot, right? Let's say you're facing a master archer. It's bad enough that marksmen sometimes pull out their inner, they pull out their inner goblin overseer. They pull out their inner marksman or master archer, as I was just saying. And they just totally nail you and stuff, and you don't want to be caught. You don't want to be caught in that crossfire. But realistically, guys, there has to be, a differentiating piece to this puzzle. There has to be something that doesn't lock you down. It doesn't hurt your momentum it has to have flavor. It can't just be a rock. It can't just be this statue. This is a statue. That's a statue. Otherwise, it's empty. It makes the world actually empty with some aesthetics that look cool, but ultimately become annoying at the end of it. Now, obviously, you can't walk into this. These spikes are not going to hurt anybody, right? But what if, for instance, your knockback abilities, when you have the two-handed hammer, boom, you hitting them back, or the overseer, what is it called, the spiked impaler. If I shoot at somebody and they hit them into that spike, it could do some damage. That'd be sweet. That'd do extra damage or crit or whatever. I know that's kind of like, that's really out there, and that's more something they do down the road. But guys, it's just some little ideas. I mean, if we're talking about literally just pure aesthetic, this is absolutely beautiful. I love that they're spread out. It's not like a fixed line. It's not like something out of the Revolutionary War where everybody's just standing in a perfect line. They're all doing their own thing, and boom, we're coming in to attack them. And then finally we get down here, and you have yourselves this is the last thing that we're kind of talking about, is it's about the atmosphere, but like in swamps, you face goblins a lot of times in the swamps. At least I have noticed that, and I like that they brought that part up. And when you get there, look at this. Like, literally, this is somebody who's been skinned, and they just put it up on the rack, and they're either I don't even know. They're just covering over. I'm trying to think of what this is called, but their food stocks and so on through guts and whatever. There's some bones by the cauldron. It's just a very beautiful. It's just beautiful, and I can't tell you guys enough. If you've ever been ambushed in a swamp, or you've been ambushed anywhere where your guys are spread out and they're doing whatever they're doing, that element of surprise being added into attacking an opponent is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, again, for Overhyped Studios, 2 thumbs way up. Just please listen. I am hoping that I'm just a smaller channel, and I don't know how much I'm being listened to and whatnot. I imagine if I was building a game, if I made a game, I'd be watching everything that anybody ever put out. Just being completely honest. So please, my message to you guys is continue the course that you're going, but just remember to make it a lively thing. I mean, even if down the road you decide, like, hey, if you go to this chest while the fight's going on and you can open up one of these chests, there's a chance for a little reward. Like those stupid minute things that most people would just disregard just based on absolute thought could totally change the game. I mean, people don't do the loot crate crap, but I'm saying just those little incentives go miles. And this game is, gosh, I can't even say enough about it. I love this game. It's my favorite game. It's really what the channel's built on, and yeah, whatever. Besides that, the one last thing I want to say, I'm pretty much done with my thoughts on it, but I want to go back to the soundtrack of the South. I listened to this again, and I can't tell you guys, this is still the most amazing thing. If you guys haven't listened to the soundtrack of the South, go to Breakdown Epiphanies. Please watch it. Subscribe to those guys. Listen to their content. They really, it's obviously all based around Battle Brothers. But man, what a great background thing to listen to. And I felt like last week I didn't do enough justice for these guys. And I appreciate them coming to the channel and even just speaking, saying something to me, saying something to what was going on. I had a lot of recording issues. And so when I actually did this video, I was not the chipper me, because I did 5 recordings, and every single one of the recordings something went wrong. So here we are. So guys, I really apologize for not being the most the best puggo I can be, but you know, I do appreciate everything they do, and yeah, I appreciate everybody coming out to the channel checking this out. So thanks again, guys, and stay tuned for more, of course. If you guys have any questions, any thoughts, any theories, please let me know in the comment section below. I love talking about Battle Brothers. It's probably one of the most joys I have in life. Yeah, that made it sound like I have a depressing life. I have an amazing life, but this makes it even more amazing. How about that? Sprinkle a little on top of that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!